Hello! And welcome to another live stream. Carrie said, did anyone hear that? Yes, you probably did, but I just realized I forgot to mute my mic during the intro. Also, yeah, hang on. Sorry about the sound. I'm using a different version of OpenRCT2, which didn't have the sound calibrated correctly. My bad. Because the launcher doesn't work at the moment, because a new version has just been released, so I use an old version. But the sound volume of that hasn't been lowered yet, because I haven't used it for streaming yet. And yeah, so I forgot to mute my mic during the intro. So if you heard any kind of noises, it might just me, I don't know, shuffling around or whatever. I didn't say anything during the intro. So it can't have been much. Anyway, what's up? I do like that this is about the worst of the technical difficulties I get. Like, sometimes it gets a little bit worse, but not very often. Who did you hit over the head with a heavy object before? I hit someone on the head with my fist once. Twice. But, that's a different story. It was not a very heavy object, though. How heavy is a fist? I don't know. Oh yeah, thank you for the 9 months, Carrie. Yeah, you're having my baby now, which is a bit creepy. Just translate it into more foster kittens. Which is also a bit creepy if you think about it. Also, yeah, if we do get a particularly intense ride, which will not be super intense, because we're building a normal park, but, you know, fairly intense, I will name it that. Do remind me, Player Spotted, by the way, because it might take a while. If you don't remind me and I forget, that's, you know, that's your fault. That's on you. Wasted channel points. I hit a bully over the head with a chair because he wouldn't stop after asking nicely. That's nice. You know, obviously physical violence isn't something we should strive for, but, you know, giving the bullies, punching them or hitting something over the head or whatever, without causing them any real damage, but just causing, you know, a bit of pain, that can often be quite effective and is not a bad thing. Yeah, sometimes it's necessary. Like, I remember I had this kind of, like, if someone was being really annoying, usually when it was, you used to be a little bit smaller kids, like a few years younger than me, when I was a teen, I would sometimes grab them by the arms and, like, pinch them in the arms with my thumbs. Like, really press my thumbs into their arms, and that would hurt them. But as soon as I would stop, the pain would stop. So it would basically be me just giving them a little bit of pain, just saying, stop, you're being annoying, I've asked you multiple times, and then everything would be fine. Like, a little bit of violence like that, it's perfectly fine, in my opinion. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta, you know, give them a bit of a stricter warning. Those weren't really bullies, those are just kids being annoying little shitheads, which they sometimes are, which I've also been. Which, you know, it's fine. Lucky there was no lake nearby. I was a little bit less sadistic back then. Alright, let's get started, shall we? We were going to do African Diamond Mine. Which I have never done on stream. There we go. It is this scenario, and I really like the way that the scenery looks here. I think this is all expansion stuff, and I think it's really, really good. Scenarios that didn't age well. Why didn't this age well? Like, there's a diamond mine in Africa. Okay. I mean, it's a bit of a grim idea. Sure. But so are lots of parks. Because those mines are usually sketchy. I mean, yeah, but you're also building a park around Uluru. You're building a park in the Grand Canyon, on the Victoria Falls, on the Great Wall. You're building parks in lots of weird places. Like, it's just a weird place. They thought, hey, what's a weird place? Oh, a diamond mine. Like, why did the Uluru scenario not age well? Like, I know there's a bit of controversy with people, you know, walking on the Uluru, which is not allowed because it's sacred site, whatever. But can you just not mention it anywhere except when you're, like, talking about how cool and sacred it is? Can you not, like, make fun of it? Can you not use it for fun in a game like this? How does that age badly? Okay, we charge for the entrance here. Interesting. We have a lot of stalls, which I need to open, I think. Yes. And we have a few rides. Which is a chairlift that goes around the park. Oh my god, the path is absolutely terrible. Just my opinion, since it's a sacred site. I mean, sure, but... I mean, it's just a roller coaster game. Like, if someone built Uluru in Minecraft and built their base in it, would you also say that ages badly? I think that's a bit weird. After all, it's just a big rock. Okay, let's connect up this path. This is literally disconnected, and so is this. Oh my god. Okay, just for added challenge, I'm not going to remove any path. I'm just going to add more path. Okay, let's have a look at Yeah, this path is a total train wreck. The double paths are fine. If they worked fine. Like, that's not... They're only double. So, they will mostly be fine, probably. Double paths are sometimes a problem, but not very often anymore. Okay, we have a path going up there. And one going down there through the mountain. This is also an... Hang on, is this entirely disconnected? Oh my god, you can only come here via a wooden coaster. Hang on. So I didn't do this, right? I didn't build that. What? What is this queue line? What is this queue line? I didn't do that. I haven't built a single bit of path yet. There are also two different types of queue line. It's not just a single random normal bit of path in between. It's two different types of queue line as well. Wow. Well, I already noticed this before, that it was a really short queue line, but I hadn't noticed yet that it was supposed to be longer. I guess it's meant to be broken and repaired cheaply. Maybe... Okay, that's... Can I... Yes, nice. Because that... that was very ugly. Now time to connect all this stuff up. Goal is like 900 guests or so, by the way. I don't care about the goal. I just want to have a good time, build a good park. The goal is not important, since we're easily gonna make that anyway. Okay, time to build one up there too. And there we go. And then we can connect, because this is also not connected any further. If we look in there, yeah. So, okay, that's not the perfect path, but good enough. Oh yeah, don't forget to drone guest 68. I don't think we have them yet, though. Oh, we can't get them. Do you want a new one? Because it starts at 185. Came across your YouTube videos, didn't even know you streamed. Thanks for the content. Well, thank you for being here. Glad you're enjoying the stuff. 168. It starts at 185, mate. So that's not gonna happen. There's also no water. Yeah, but that, I mean, that's fine. Like, a drowning pond is easily made. 268. I don't think we have them yet, but we will get 268. Just a few more. 64, 6, 7, 8. There we go. Bye-bye. You will die. And then it's time to build more connecting paths. I'm pretty sure that when I completed this, I just deleted all the paths. I mean, that's definitely the most effective way to do it. Okay, then we're gonna build another path further down here. And do that. And then this obviously also doesn't go to the middle level. Because why would it? Oh my god. This is awful. Absolutely awful. Oh, hey, Ass Maxi. I didn't know I was your daddy. Okay, now time to connect this. This is gonna be a nightmare and a half. Thank you for the follow, the Scrabble. Okay, that's all connected. This is still unconnected. Hey, we actually have someone here. Yeah, you see, they have ridden the ride, and they're now looking for Mine Lift 2, which obviously they cannot reach. Whoops, sorry, mine. Well, you know, that's what happens. You get tourism, so the local economy's gotta suffer. Although the tourism enhances it a bit too. And we're gonna go that way. Oh god, I misread Mine Lift as MILF. Well, I know what I gotta do now. Wait a minute. Hang on, is this Mine Lift? What is Mine Lift? Oh, they're lifts, of course. Duh. Mine MILF 1. Why is there a 1 at the front? Mine MILF 2. There we go. Okay, that's finally connected to everything. Now, okay, that path does go around entirely. I'm spending like all my money on path. I don't know how good of a financial decision that is. Maybe I should have done this a little bit later. Oh well. Oh, this needs to be connected too. I can probably take out a loan. I mean, this is an expansion scenario. It's probably piss easy. Oh, hey, look at that. We can already start by building micro corkscrews if we need to. Which is relevant because a lot of people complained about me using micro coasters in the last video. No thrill, right? Well, we have a few. Okay, that's connected. Which means that guest is free. Okay, I think this is good enough for now. Yeah, this is fine. I mean, if they're pretty micro rides, then whatever. Yeah, oh yeah, you can pin messages. That's a new thing. So the whole thing, because a lot of people complained about me using micro coasters in the Marcel Plays RCT series, because they'd hoped I wouldn't. The thing is, if I didn't use micro coasters, I would not have been able to build all the rides I did, because they made me a lot of money. And I have pretty strong opinions about that, so I made an entire 8-minute video discussing the matter. And basically telling people why they're wrong. Although not really basically saying, I think I disagree. Let's put it there. There's the whole thing about, you know, is using microcoasters cheating and, you know. It's all discussion. And obviously this wasn't the first time I've seen it. I've seen it many times before. And I think it's an interesting discussion to have. It's a feature. Yeah, but I do get people's aversion towards it. Like, it's not random. Like, if someone said, you know, I'm really good at Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. I even beat Amity Airfield. And then they just built a bunch of microcoasters and still only barely got 3,000 guests and 600 park rating. Like, that's them misunderstanding the game. They're not actually good. So I get where people are coming from. And that's also a thing I do address in the video. Okay, this scenery will just have to go. Otherwise I can't build here at all. What's the best height for a regular normal rotor drop? 0. Literally 0. Like, not even a top. Yeah, they cheated not only the game, but themselves. Yeah, decapitated. And with that, I literally mean 0. Like, if I just quickly build what I mean, it's this. Because, I mean, basically the shorter the better. And this one is so short, it doesn't even go up. Unless you're in a particular version and you're building a rotor drop exactly on top of this rotor drop, and you have the ghost piece, or normal piece, doesn't have to be a ghost piece, either the ghost or the normal piece above it, then it will go up and crash. Which is a very obscure glitch. Basically, the thing is, if you build a rotor on top of it and you do this, then rotor drop 2 would see the top piece of rotor drop 3 as its own top piece. Because what the rotor drop did was just look for the closest top piece above it and go towards there. The problem is, it can't, and it crashes as soon as it reaches the top of its own tower. Which is a bug that you would never ever find if you just build a top piece on all your rotor drops. And even if you don't, you need to build 2 rotor drops exactly on top of each other. And if you just do this and then quickly do this, it's still fine. Because the check for a rotor drop piece above it is only, like, there's only one check every time it goes up or it starts. So the crashes, when I first found out, were really random. What if a rotor drop has 2 top pieces? I don't know. You can obviously do that with the tile inspector, but I've never tried. With all these rides, by the way, we can charge a lot more for this. Like 30 bucks at least. We already could have. I mean, this wooden coaster alone, you can probably charge... How old is it? This year, new. You could probably charge at least 18, maybe 20 bucks for this. Along with a rotor drop, which is not like 20 bucks. I mean, we can charge 40 for this. Charge 50 for this. I have another rotor drop, baby. How rich are the guests, by the way? This guy... Oh, is 40. That means we don't want to charge 50. This guy... 60. 40. So either it's 30 to 60 or it's... Yeah, it's 40 to 70. Okay. No, I didn't miss it. I didn't miss that reward or even forgot about it, Carrie. It's just that I haven't built a particularly intense coaster yet. Usually, by the way, you shouldn't really do those kinds of things, like if we build this in the future. Because it's a bit annoying keeping track of it. But you know what? I'll build an intense coaster now. And I'll build a stand-up coaster, which will always be intense. Now, it's good that you pinned it, because we still need to do it. I just wanted to have you know that I didn't forget about it. Yeah, I don't have the cash for this. What's our maximum loan? 30k, alright. More cash machines. Do we have cash machines? We don't need cash machines really though, because we're not charging for the rides. I don't care about keeping guests in the park, because 900 is easy anyway. And since we're not charging for the rides, the cash machines don't matter as much. How about a helix to make you dizzy? before we do that. Okay, so yesterday I had a bit of a discussion on Reddit about things in school, and I was curious. So, were you allowed to leave your school grounds in high school? Or were you not allowed? So, were you allowed, yes or no? Because I'm curious. Because I was allowed. Like, they didn't give a crap what you did outside of classes. As long as you didn't disrupt anything, of course. Like, from age 11 onwards, which is high school here, we were, and I've heard that not everyone in the Netherlands was, but at least our school was incredibly lax. They didn't care at all as long as you just showed up for your classes and weren't disruptive whenever you were on school grounds. That's all. I don't know where the hell you'd go if you did though. We were in the middle of the goddamn nowhere. Yeah, we weren't. We were in a city. So a lot of you weren't allowed. That's interesting. I mean, it's funny. Like, if I wouldn't be allowed, that would be very weird. You know why that would be weird? Because to get to school, I would cycle 16 kilometers, or roughly an hour, without any adult supervision. Why would I be allowed to cycle that alone, not often alone, but sometimes alone, but not be able to leave school grounds? Like, that would be so weird. Yeah, I cycled 2 hours a day, or well, 10 hours a week, basically. Sometimes I didn't, you know, it rained very hard or whatever, but, you know, at least 99 times out of 10 I cycled to school. Which was fine. You know, then I stopped cycling because we moved and I had to take the train and then I got fat, so, you know, the cycling was very useful. That's a lot of biking, yeah. But, you know, it was fine. Because first off, it's really good exercise. Because of all that bike, like, it's really hard to get fat if you cycle 2 hours a day on every weekday. So, the kids that need to cycle that far are rarely overweight. Now, I was a bit overweight, but not much at that time. Like, maybe a few kilos. And, you know, you had a long day of school, maths and whatever, you know, and it was a real bastard of a day. And then you cycle home with some friends, and you have a nice chat about whatever's your fancy. You know, the latest boy band that you're into, or some video games, or music, or girls, or whatever. We talked about all of that, except boy bands. So, yeah, it was just, you know, have a good time. Sometimes the weather was shit, and, you know, you dealt with that. I once cycled home for about 1.5 hours in a snowstorm. Against the wind, which wasn't fun. But, you know, that happens. I wish I didn't live on top of a big hill. Biking home is kind of a bother. Oh yeah, it is very flat in the Netherlands. What do you dislike more when cycling? Headwind or rain? That depends very much. I would say in general, like if it's a very slight headwind, I would prefer that over very slight rain. But as soon as it gets like on the heavier side, I think I would prefer the heavy rain. Because you'll get wet anyway. But cycling against the wind is really terrible. Like a little bit of wind is fine. It also like depends if you need to be somewhere and you need to be proper. Like then having the rain is not nice. But if you come home and you can immediately take a shower, it's fine. I don't know how much speed it still has here. Let's have a look. Oh, I think it just crashed somewhere there. I think it doesn't make it somewhere here. Oh, it does. Never mind. I'm blind. Okay, that's a good speed. Okay, nice. Favorite Dutch theme park? I mean, that's Walibi, but it's also the only one I've been to in the last 15-ish years. The hardest math test? The central exam. Which was also my very last math test, at least in high school. I scored very high on that, an 8.1 on the 2014 exam, VWO. I'm quite proud of that. I'm not done about school, by the way, because another thing that is very American, in my opinion, because I've never heard about it in the Netherlands, and I've only heard about it in like shows and whatnot, is hall passes. Like, I've never heard of a hall pass in the Netherlands. And they might exist, I don't know. But they didn't at my school. Not even in primary school. Like, if you had to go to the toilet or whatever in primary school, you'd just go. I mean, you'd ask the teacher if for example, they were explaining something. But if you were working on your own, like, you know, we had work on your own time, then you just go. At least in the higher years, like in the younger years, we used to have like a P necklace, or plasketting in Dutch, because only one kid was allowed to go at a time, and that means that the teacher knows that a kid is in the bathroom. But that was only in grade 1 and 2, which is kindergarten in America. So that was like age 4, 5, and 6, a little bit, you know, depends on when your birthday is. Okay, I think this is a fairly intense coaster. So, let's name it... It might be too intense, but we'll see. Julie Jonas Urbanator. No idea what that means. But it sounds cool. Ours wasn't yellow. I believe ours was green and red. But yeah, it was big wooden shapes. Definitely. But I might be entirely wrong on the colors. I mean, it was 20 years ago. Okay, let's see what the actual stats are of this baby. 13 drops, that's a lot. 10.16? Ah, it's fine. Who cares? I kinda do, but... whatever. Let's try that. Let's see if that gives it below 10. Probably not. 10.08. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna remove one drop. Because I care. Okay. Haha, 9.99. Perfect. Rotor drop 1 is Lucy in the sky with diamonds. Wait, oops, that's diamond, right? Rotor drop 1, there we go. Lucy in the sky with diamonds. I don't get that reference. What coasters you got? These. So yeah, in primary school, like, we didn't have any kind of hall passes whatsoever. If you, like, needed to get something from somewhere, or were tasked by the teacher to, I don't know, go somewhere and get something, or if you need to go to the toilet, you just went. Obviously, if you were just hanging about in the hallways, the teachers, if an adult would come by, they would ask you, what are you doing? Because there's no such thing as a free period in primary school. Flying coaster, alright. But in high school, anything was allowed. Like, I've heard stories of people not being able to chill out in the hallways of their high school. But why wouldn't you be? Like, sometimes we had a free period. In the lower years, they try to prevent that as much as possible to make sure that, you know, you're done earlier in the day. But sometimes it happens. Especially if a lesson is cancelled. And, yeah, sometimes we just hung out in the hallways. Just, you know, basically chatting and whatever. Does the park have staff already? I don't think it does, considering all the pukies. No, it doesn't. Well, who's going to fire them? In that case. Let's hire a whole bunch of them. Our only free periods were study halls, and then they confined us to the cafeteria. There we go, fire the staff. Well, at least the park has been cleaned. That was predictable. Ground guest 519. Alright. But yeah, our school staff never went on a power trip or anything like that. If you were being disruptive, then yeah, they would ask you to, like, be not disruptive. The Woody is stuck. It's not stuck. It's stuck, but it's just broken down. It'll get fixed once I can hire staff again. And also, I've heard stories about, like, Lucky in the Sky with the Diamonds the Beatles song. Okay, yeah, I saw that. I've heard stories of, like, bag searches and whatever in the high schools. Like, that was never a thing. I've never heard of a bag search unless there was actual probable cause. Like, but not anything like random bag searches or whatever. It was all very lax. Like, technically alcohol wasn't allowed on the school grounds. But I don't think they really gave a damn unless you were drinking it or intoxicated. But otherwise, like, I know a friend of mine once had some gummy bears in, like, something like Smirnoff Ice or whatever in his locker, and no, I mean, they never knew, but they also didn't, like, search for it or anything. Like, locker searches, locker checks, whatever, were not a thing. Name it to whatever the next quote command comes up with. The park. The Strait of Fortnite. Huh. Sounds quite interesting. It could have been a long quote, but it's not. It actually fits. Oh yeah, metal detectors is a very American thing. Just like security guards or locking the schools. Like, what? Like, I've heard of schools being locked. My school was never locked. Well, I mean, obviously it was after closing time. You know, after like 6 PM or whatever. 7 PM, but... I mean, students are free to arrive and go as they please. So, locking the school doesn't really work. Like, how do you get in as a kid if your lessons don't start until later? Like, if your free periods are at the start of the day? Is it just someone sitting there to let people in? Because obviously people need to get in and out of school regularly throughout the day. Either to leave when they're done or, you know, to get there. There's an intercom on the gate. That would be hilariously ineffective. I mean, I understand that, you know, reasons why those protective measures are there. Hang on, I don't have an inversion. That would give me a massive stat penalty. You know, they're there for good reasons, unfortunately. But it's still very weird to me. Also, yeah, schools being... Hang on, what was the comment? Police used to do random locker searches with drug-sniffing dogs. Like, what? That doesn't even have anything to do with school safety. That's just America being paranoid about drugs. Like, that's just a whole war on drugs nonsense. Like, the whole, you know, the whole security guards and whatever, I can understand in response to things that happened. But the whole drugs thing... Like, I've also heard stories about, like, bathroom doors being taken off because kids would smoke weed in them or whatever. Like, that's hilarious to me. That's, like, such an invasion of privacy. Oh, and there's, of course, also... which also does happen in the Netherlands. That's not just an American thing. I don't want to shit on America here. But obviously it is, things are different there, which are weird to me because I'm not familiar. But there are also things which I hear a lot about in America because I mostly hear that stuff from Americans on Reddit. But it also happens in the Netherlands. It's parents disagreeing with the grades their kids got at school. Like, how dare you give my kids such a low grade? I never saw it happen at my school, but I've heard it happen in the Netherlands. Like, if I did badly at school, my parents would be like, either, okay, if you did your best, that's fine, you know, that happens, and, you know, can we help? Or they would be like, if I didn't do my best, like, do your best. Like, work for it harder, because you clearly need to. That's, you know, that's the normal response. In my opinion, at least. Oh, look at that, I can hire staff seats again. Some got really competitive at parent-teacher meetings. Yeah, I've had a fair bit of parent-teacher meetings. Including one where the teacher didn't show up because he was playing tennis. But also quite a few where mostly just because my grades were low. Sometimes also just for general interest. For course I was good at. But generally because my grades were low. And yeah, they were always like objective. Like my parents would ask the teacher, you know, how is he in class? What's he doing? You know, is he doing his work? All, you know, basic questions. And the teacher's word was never ever questioned. Because why would it? Unless I went against it, of course, but the teachers never lied, so I didn't go against it. It's funny, I already grabbed my bottle of water before you redeemed that command carry. Also, thank you for the 3 months, a guy called Stu. My best friend's mom was a bee who did that, and my friend was really ashamed of that. Oh, I would be really ashamed too. I've had a lot of bad teachers, but I never heard of grades in my classes that were unfair in my time. I once got a grade that was unfair, but that was just because the teacher made a mistake. Like, there were 7 questions on the test. It was some kind of Dutch test. And I got a 6 out of 10, which isn't, like, it's still a passing grade. It's not terrible. But she just forgot to grade the entire first question. Which was not a problem, because I saw it. I went to her desk, I pointed it out, and she was like, oh, yeah, you're right. And she graded it, and I got a 7 out of 10. That's just how things work. I can think of one. It was -3 for every mistake, except there was as many as 100 mistakes to be made, so you could get a I once got a 10, but since this was so unusual to happen, it got checked by another teacher who gave me a 7. To this day, I never want a 10 anymore. I mean, that's clearly not something objective like math. That's clearly like writing an essay or something like that, right? I've never been on a flying coaster Arsenal, so I don't know if I would enjoy them. Still, the difference between the 10 and the 7 is quite big. One time I worked a lot on a game engine, but then afterwards not that much on making a game in the engine. The teacher gave me a 7. I was a bit disappointed and told him how complex it was. Oh, okay, an 8 then. Oh, that's like... That's a great story. I got something like that once too. Although it was slightly worse. Because I had like a 7.45 average or something like that in Informatica, which is basically computer science. And I really wanted to get above the 7.5, because that would mean you got an 8, rounded to whole numbers, on your final report card when you graduated. So I went to the teacher, was like, okay, I really want an 8. Is there any sort of project or anything I can do for, to up my grade? And he said, oh, don't you worry. You don't need to do anything. I'll make sure you have an 8. And he just changed one of my grades that I already got. Which is ridiculous. Granted, I usually put a lot of effort into the class. But still. Like, he was a good guy. But he was kind of a bad teacher. But I really got on with him well. And I was really good at computer science. And I really liked it. So, for me it wasn't really a problem. But yeah, he was a bad teacher. Not bad in the terms of like being a shithead, because I said he was a good guy. But yeah. And he could explain like quite well, but just in all the other teacher like stuff that you have to do, like basically giving me a free grade, which I didn't deserve. Last time I got A+ was on the blood test. Nice. Look at the little guy. So cute. I guess that you showed that you were willing to do something for a grade. And yes, you did deserve it. I mean, I suppose I went above and beyond with some of the assignments. One time in 4th class we had, I think it was the very first computer science test. And we had the same teacher as I had in 6th class. And one of the assignments was translating binary into decimal and the other way around. Now, I handed in my test. I was done and I was good at it. It was easy. But I hadn't shown any of my work. I had just written the answer. Which is bad practice. And, I deserve to get some points removed from that. But when I handed it in, he immediately noticed. So he went to me and said, hey, you didn't show your work. What's up? And then I said, oh, I just do it in my head. And I just write it down. Because, he had all systems for that, which we learned to do. But it was easy for me. And I didn't need any of those systems with writing it down. Because I could just do it in my head while writing it down. And instead of deducting points, what he did was he gave me like right then and there, when I was still at my desk, where I took the test and I handed it in like a few minutes earlier, or he picked it up or whatever. He gave me a new assignment, like translate this decimal into binary. And he said, if you can do this right now, without a mistake, and just in your head, I'll give you full points on on the test, assuming your answers are correct there. So I did, and I got the full points, which was very nice. This orange-gray is really good for like a kind of very mechanical, industrial theme, which fits here. Oh, thank you for the bits, Paleophilosopher. Yeah, it basically proved that I can do it. But it's very unorthodox, isn't it? Better than my teacher. She accused me of having a calculator watch. It was an analog watch. I mean, you can just show her, but I've heard stories of teachers that will not accept it even if shown proof. What shall we build? We have 820 guests, which is almost enough already. Like, it's ridiculous. Granted, we only have 2 years, we're halfway, so we're not going that fast, but still. It was the same teacher who, after being absent for an entire semester, or well, the first quarter of the year, and we had a substitute, but he came back, and during that first quarter of the year, I did not do any work. I didn't hand in anything because we had to do some database work, which I did not enjoy, so I just didn't do it. And the substitute was like terrible. He just sat at his desk, and he answered questions if you got there, but he never paid any attention to what you did. So I never did anything. I didn't hand anything in, and I was expecting to get a 1 out of 10. But I didn't. At some point, after our original teacher had returned, we call him Mr. M. Mr. M just gave me a 6.5. Probably assuming I had done some work. I hadn't handed anything in, but at some point a 6.5 appeared online in my grades repository. Or, as the Dutch people will know it, Magister. The other teacher probably didn't record squat. Maybe, I don't know. I didn't question it. I was like, okay, neat. And then I moved on. And I did put in a lot of work, like, for all the other periods and all these semesters or whatever. So, like, it's not like I didn't put any work into the class. But just not that period. Ah, there's the good old Dodgems music. I went to a special needs school, but every teacher... No, every pupil from junior... Oh, every teacher knows every pupil from junior to senior. Yeah, because there's probably not very many people at a special needs school. And probably a lot more teachers relatively. I was fairly well known. What was really well known is the place where me and my friends always hung out during breaks. It was so well known that it was basically, if you need to find Marcel or any of his friends, just go to the bridge connecting the two school buildings and they'll probably be there. And so yeah, every once in a while, maybe every month or every 2 months or so, a teacher would need to talk to us for whatever reason. Sometimes good, sometimes neutral, sometimes bad. And they just find us there. Like, it was well known among the teachers where we always were on our breaks. What was really interesting is because We basically, it was like a bridge between the two school buildings, the main building and the southern school, what they were called, or Zuiderschool in Dutch. And in the middle of the bridge was a door. And there were like windows and then a door. Because it was a fairly wide bridge and the doors weren't that wide. So, and obviously you have two windows on either side, two sides of windows. So you basically had 4 different spots. Like you had before the door, in front of the door on the right, in front of the door on the left, behind the door on the right, and behind the door on the left, right? Let me just... So you had like that. And then you had like a door here. And then you had like 4 different spots. One here, one there, and one there. And over the years, over the entire 6 years we were in high school, we started always having our break in this spot. Then sometime later, like probably in our 2nd year or something, we kind of moved towards this spot. Then somewhere again later, we moved to this spot. And then in like final 2 years or something, we usually were in this spot. We kind of moved around. But we weren't the only ones who always stuck around on the same place. Like the ones, like a few kids from the year below us were always like in the final few years on this spot. It's really amazing how even though you technically don't have assigned seating in class or assigned places to stand in a break, people really always tend to take the same seat or same spot time after time. Like, I'm pretty sure that you guys know that too. If you didn't have assigned seating in class, you probably still had people sitting in the same spots time after time. At least we did. Yeah, we're very much creatures of habit. Alright, see you, Henry. You know, I had a good time in school. Both primary and middle school, or high school. Middle school doesn't really exist here. High school probably a bit more. But, you know, I had a lot of difficulties, was bullied a bit, and, you know, it wasn't always easy. Far from it. But in general, I had a good time. Like, I didn't have many friends, but I always had at least 1 or 2. So I count myself very lucky. Because, you know, my father passed away in 2010. But aside from that, I always had a good home situation as well. And even during that time, like... Obviously, it was a terrible thing, but it didn't really give any tensions between me and my mom or anything. Basically, things were handled really well, both by my mom, by my family, by the school. So, yeah, I had a very lucky. With basically everything. Well, not everything, but a lot. I was even so lucky that, because, you know, I was bullied a fair bit. Also around the time my dad passed away. But I was never bullied for that. You know, kids had limits. I know they sometimes don't, but there they did, luckily. Can you call the flying coasters Diamonds Are Forever? But they're not. I can name it then, though. If it's not already named? No, it's not. Diamonds are forever. Sometimes those limits are set by adults with great punishment. Yeah, but, you know, let's say you're standing somewhere in the hall and the bully walks by and he says, haha, your dad is dead. He was a, you know, he was a F-word anyway or whatever. You know, they can't really punish that if it happens once or twice. So, that stuff could have easily happened, but it didn't. Diamonds last for quite a long time. Belby Da Rugged Child, thank you for the follow. It's a James Bond movie, is it? I don't get all your references. But if that was my kid and I heard about him doing that, he would be grounded for a month. Fair enough. Then again, a lot of, you know, bullying like that isn't reported. I certainly didn't report on everything. My mom knew I was being bullied. My dad did too. But I didn't report on everything. And it wasn't that bad. Like, there was never a time I came home, like, crying or upset about it. So, while it was not nice, definitely not, it wasn't terrible either. Alright, we have a nice junior here. Very long trains. Hey, we have reached our goal. That was easy. That was way too easy. I've just been telling stories about school and asking you guys about your school and building random coasters. Like, I've been losing a lot of money. We're almost out of money. It's not actually going particularly well. Let's just advertise. Which is basically cheating, considering how overpowered it is. Also, I should build some more stalls. Or maybe not, because then people leave and we get new people. And one of those, one of those. And we need a footstool. There we go. Hang on, I never connected this. Whoops. I hope your left ear is enjoying the dodgems. And then we'll connect it there. There we go. That's connected now too. Amsterdam has a diamond district? I didn't know. Oh, let's do yeah, let's build pride slides. You know, because the video I made is about micro coasters. It is the term I use specifically, but it's basically about spamming rides in general. Just like the pride slides is spamming rides. Also, considering some kind of recent event, building pride slides is not such a bad idea, because we still need it. So let me just tell you, if you are gay or transgender or anything LGBT, that's perfectly fine. And you're perfectly welcome here. Never been in the Diamond District with GeoGuessr. I might have. But I wouldn't recognize it. I would just look at the street names. And the street name signs in Amsterdam have the neighborhood names on them as well. And I just look at that and find that. you don't know what Pride slides are, by the way, I'm gonna make these rainbow. So we're not quite done with this yes once the path is connected. And I think, like, I still remember the first time I built these. It was also spiral slides the first time I did rainbow rides. At least in Livestream. And I think that was supposed to be also a Pride thing from the person who requested it. I'm not entirely sure. But ever since then, I've been doing it both just because, you know, it's fun to build, rainbows are nice. And also often as a bit of a silent, you know, Pride thing. And today as a not so silent Pride thing. Proud to be slide. Nice. Ooh, we need more ads. So we definitely need more money. Your advertising campaign for Mine MILF has finished. If you're a MILF, that's okay too. Sounds better than proud to be a rotating wheel. Yeah, the reason I often do rainbow Ferris wheels, which is kind of become my go-to for rainbow ride, is because they're smaller. They're a bit easier to fit in usually. What if we make this that? Yeah, that's good. LGBTQM and I'm from MILF. It's funny that if there are any kids watching that don't know what MILF means, that doesn't matter. Because we get the joke. Let's open them. Rainbow Giga Coasters. I've probably made Rainbow Giga Coasters sometime. I do remember being challenged to make like 6-way rainbow dueling coasters back in like 2018 or something. When I did on Reddit, I did a challenge me day. I made a post and I said like, you know, challenge me to build anything and I'll try. I was already known for doing weird stuff like that. Like I'd already built the longest coaster and stuff like that, you know, gotten high excitement. So people knew what to ask, and someone asked that, which wasn't really in my wheelhouse, but I did it anyway. Let me see if I can find it. If the save file might just be called, like, Rainbow Dueling Coaster or whatever. Let's see. Man, I love fudge. Mommy is a lovely friend. Marcel, I'd like to fornicate. You know, I've never had anyone seriously come on to me yet. Because of my YouTube, quote-unquote, fame. Let's see, do we have any rainbow? Rainbow wave, yeah, I know what that is. Which is interesting, by the way. Let's open it up. Now watch all the rides break down. So, hang on. Oh, the rides are supposed to be invisible. Hang on. Let's quickly do disable breakdowns. Whoa! That's a hell of a noise. This is not the right save file. Ah, there we go. Okay, quickly. That one. Isn't this neat? Hey, there's one wrongly colored one in there. It's that one. I'm not sure if I'm clicking on it right. Hang on. Yeah, that one is colored wrongly. This needs to be orange. There we go. I made this a long time ago, like 5 years ago or something. It's amazing. I should post this to my second channel. Rainbow wave machine. Yeah, I'll save it. I think there's a purple in one of the... Oh yeah, you're right. Oh, that's not a purple, that's a pink. How did that happen? Ugh. It's kind of hypnotic. It messes with my eyes a bit if I look at them going up. It's weird. But I like it. Now see if I can find my 6-way dueling rainbow coaster. Is it here? Now this is 6 drop Ari Pwurwe. Which is something different. A rainbow. Rainbow Summit. Rainbow 6-way jeweler. Well, that'll be it. Why are they not synchronized? Well, they're close enough. I really like this element. That's an amazing coaster. Well, thank you. They're supposed to be synchronized, like they all have to synchronize with adjacent stations. But somehow they sometimes don't seem to entirely synchronize. Okay, now you see they're still not properly synchronized. Maybe it's... I think it's because brakes being inconsistent and stuff. Oh, thank you for the bit, Belly of Philosopher. So yeah, this is quite a nice coaster that I built. It's... I mean, it's a bit weird. Oh, listen to that. That was a wonderful sound. Boosters are also inconsistent, I think. Are they? I think I've heard that, but I'm not entirely sure if it's true. Let's see what else I got for Rainbow. Wave machine, Rainbow wave test. I think that's still the wave machine, but just some kind of intermediate stuff. Yeah. That's all the same thing, but you know, intermediate backup saves and whatnot. Rainbow small Apavak. What the hell is Apavak? I knew that. Air-powered vertical coaster. This was probably from the air-powered vertical coaster overview. I think. Makes a hell of a lot of money. Makes more than 100k a month, so probably 200k. You could make a custom scenario like 3 Monkeys Park with a 6-way jeweler. No, I can't. I'm not good enough to make that look pretty. Like Dirkling could. I couldn't. Okay, let's go back to Mines of Africa. Are we still advertising? Yes, we are, baby. Can guests find their way around the park if the ground is all path? No, not really. I wouldn't advise doing that. Okay, let's build a wild mice coaster. And be gone, be gone, be gone. Whoops. What if we go that way? Okay, that's better. Let's color it let's color it a bit differently so that I can actually see where we're going. So that it's not just the same color as the stand-up coaster. Yeah, they have to calculate indeed every single crossing, and it's not quite the same as no path at all, because no path at all they don't calculate anything. Like if you put them in a big square of path and you put like a ride 10 tiles away, they'll probably be able to find it, which they wouldn't be if there was no path. So it's not the same, but yeah, it's bad. Because basically everything is a junction. Ask a geography question. Ooh, interesting. What kind of geography are we going to talk about? Through loopings. I think it's going to have trouble getting high enough for that. Well, the Julius Hobbidobbidobbid is in the way. Can you name 5 countries with a B? Belize, Bhutan, Belgium, I know there's more. Come on. Brazil. Duh. I'm not looking at the chat. Come on. Last one. There should be one in Africa. Oh, Burundi. Well, I think it's clear that I didn't look at the chat, because I didn't name any of them in the chat. Bahamas, Barbados, Belarus, yeah, I forgot. You see, I know a lot about geography. But if there's anything I'm terrible at, not just in geography, but in general, it's questions like that. Like, if you ask me, like, name scenarios that start with an F. Or name, I would know Forest Frontiers, obviously, but, you know, really obvious ones. Or, you know, name countries that end in Iam, or yeah, or whatever. I am terrible at that. Yeah, Bosnia, Bolivia, Botswana. They're not, like, obscure countries. I'm just so bad at questions like that for some reason. I mean, the first thing that got in my head, well, one of the first, was Belize and Bhutan. For some reason. Like, they're on the obscure side. Bulgaria, yeah, no, not Bulgaria. I didn't think about Bulgaria. Welcome, XCN Games. Happy to have you here. Okay, let's see how fast it's actually going through these turns. That's a good sound. Bahrain, yeah, that's another one. Probably the smallest. Well, or maybe Barbados is smaller. I don't know. Okay, it's not going too fast here. Not at all. Brunei. Not too. There's lots that start with a B. Much more than I expected. Belize. Yeah, I got Belize. That was one of the first ones. Like, I immediately named 3 of them in really quick succession. And Belize was one of those. From red to purple, name the slides LGBTQ+. You know, that's 6 rides, not 1. But it's fine. And I like the idea. L G B T. Unfortunately, they will not be below each other in the rights list. So, you know, while it's a neat idea, and you can, yeah, kind of see it here if you had look at it. Plus, minus, minus, plus, minus, minus, plus, minus, minus. Lol. Also, another thing I found out about these is let's say, let's say you do something very long, like Marcel Roller Coaster Tycoon. It's clear that, like, Marcel, like, it doesn't fit around. It's too long to fit around. Yet, it goes around like it does. So, like, this is too long to fit just around the space you have. Also, if you rotate it, the names will rotate with them. Look at that. I discovered that today. Which makes sense, because, the most that is rendered is either two sides of a square, or if you use some others, no, not that one, it's half of a circle. And they always just render that whichever way you're looking at it. So, rendering-wise, that makes a lot of sense. But if you really think about it, it doesn't really work. Oh, wait, raise our lower land? I don't see a hill there. Oh, I selected the wrong base. And we are done. Isn't it beautiful? Isn't life beautiful? There's nothing more beautiful than life. I don't know what I'm on about. Life is pretty good. It is. Not for everyone, but regardless of how good your life is, you can at least agree that the concept of life is really cool. Like, if you think about it, basically we are just some chemistry, right? Our brains and whatever are just a little bit of chemistry, a little bit of physics, a little bit of biology. Well, basically just a little bit of physics and chemistry. Yet, we can think. We are aware of ourselves. And that is so weird. And cool. Thank you for the sub, Ixion Games. Okay, we definitely need to do that. Okay, that's pretty good stats. Self-replicating machines that arose from nothing that are slowly taking over the universe is a pretty neat concept. Yeah, whoever programmed the video game that we are in, pretty good programmer. Exit path. Well, it wouldn't be a Marcel stream without forgetting an exit path. Although I feel like I've been doing that less lately. It's been less of a meme. Lots of bugs though. Yeah, but bugs are kind of overpowered. Do you guys watch Tierzu? YouTube channel, Tierzu. He is an amazing YouTube channel. So, if you don't know who he is, the concept of his channel is basically that the world is a game called Outside. And all the living things are classes. You'll have a rogue or a mage or whatever. Like, you can be a cheetah, you can be a human, you can be, I don't know, an oak tree. All the living things are classes. And he does videos like the cat tier list, or are water bears or tardigrades overpowered? And then he has like it's a Pokemon game, he has the different stats, like health stat, intelligence stat, and he'll say like, cephalopods have the second highest intelligence stats, only bested by humans. And this species really is a glass cannon, went all in on power and speed. And then he has abilities like resistance to this or venom. it's so great. But you learn a lot about it as well. Because, you know, when he says that cheetahs get bodied left and right by other cats because they're not very strong, assuming that, you know, that's all true, you learn about that. In a very video gamey way. It's so great. Thank you for the follow, Mercury 8-bit. Okay, let's build... Do we have a water right? Ooh, we do have water rights. I'm assuming he researches his videos very well. I've never seen anything that I was like, hang on, that's not true. And while I'm not an expert on wildlife or anything, I do know a fair bit about it. Like, probably a little bit more than your average layperson. Not much more, but a little bit. And I've never had like, hey, that's wrong. Quick question that came up last night as I was messing around. How long can you make a queue before the guests will give up and turn around without using TV or entertainers? I don't know. Well, giving up and turning around is not a thing. But what I have seen is that if the queue is too long, guests will become boring. And by the time they finally reach the entrance, they... Or become bored, not boring. They will have been waiting too long, and they'll immediately turn around upon reaching the entrance. Alright, see ya, Max. So there is kind of a limit. I found that out when I built an incredibly long queue line in the same park that has the merry-go-round arch. The Cursed Park. And there, no one rode the ride, because they all just turned around as soon as they got to the entrance. So they wait until it's time for them to go on the ride and then give up. I presume once they meet the end of the queue line that's already there, but because no one went on it, there was no queue line, so it was reaching the entrance. But yeah, I have not tested it with like a proper line of guests already being there. And one final little... No. We'll go down instead. Oh, we're not aligned. Alright, then we'll just do... Oh, we're way too high. Insert weed joke here. Thank you. Hey chat. Hey Marcel, been a while since I watched one of your streams. Well, welcome back, Farvi. Okay, time to redo the marketing campaigns. Alright, let's see. Geography question. How many times fits Belgium in Canada? I have no idea, but let's think about it. Can I... Because you can easily Google the answer for me and calculate it. I want to see if I can make an educated guess. Let's see. I don't know how I would approach this, but... Canada is like 4,000 kilometers across, and Belgium is like 100 or 150. So that would be like a factor, like 30, 35. And Canada, how tall is it on average? Like, I don't know, 2,000 kilometers? I think it's a bit wider than tall. So that's gonna be another 20. Of course, Belgium is not a square. Let's say about 800 times. I think that's way too many, but I'm gonna say 800 times. That's too many. Are you sure, or have you actually, or are you just guessing? AKA, have you calculated it? Wait, only 30? That can't be right. That's never right. Canada is bigger than the US, and the Netherlands definitely easily fits 30 times in. Isn't Canada much taller than its wide if you include the QE Islands? I don't know what the QE Islands are. If they're like the Arctic Islands, maybe, but it's also very, like, a bit narrower. You know what, I'm just gonna... Canada size... Belgium size... Okay, that's about 10 million square kilometers, 30,000. So that would be about 300 times, right? Yeah, I don't even need a calculator for that. So it's about 330 times. So I was off by about a factor of 2. That's not that bad of an estimation. Because I don't really know how big Belgium is exactly. So it's a very difficult estimation to do. But yeah, I'm not unhappy with that. Like, I'm within a factor 3. My brother once, he had some kind of test, probably geography. And one of the questions was how many people die in traffic accidents every year in Belgium? And his answer that he wrote down was 10 million. That's pretty much the entire population of Belgium. Needless to say, he didn't get any points on that question. He was like 14 or something, so, you know, it's a long time ago. He knows a bit better now. Yeah, 10 million a year. Like, even India doesn't reach that, presumably. 1% of India dying of road accidents every year, I doubt it. Well, a bit less than 1% now, they've got more than 1 billion people. They die inside because they have to drive on Belgian roads. I mean, maybe. That year was a bit detrimental for the population of Belgium. My guess was 150. Oh, I have no idea. You know, well, let's look it up. Belgium. It's a bit morbid, but whatever. That's year. 516 in 2021. I don't know how Corona influenced that potentially, but your 150 is not too far off. Let's redo the ads. Also, thank you for the bits, Voodoo. I'm off working early today. Happy Thanksgiving. Oh yeah, I forgot, because it's not a thing here, but happy Thanksgiving to anyone who celebrates it. Like, if Cody didn't mention it earlier today when he was live streaming, I would not have, like, encountered it at all today. So yeah, on average seems to be about 600. Thank you, Prince. What does it have to do with geography? The traffic that's in Belgium? Not really all that much, but the topic was Belgium, and I was curious. And I don't know what test my brother answered that on exactly, and my guess was geography, because I wouldn't know what other subject it would be. Holy crap, that's a lot of pukes. Might as well just drop a few of them there. There we go. I dropped one on these two pukes. Yes, you. Clean it up, you bastard. What's on your for long list? I'm pretty sure you mean a wish list or whatever it would be in the... What are they looking at? Watching Diamonds Are Forever. With their beer in their hand. That looks cool. I don't really know what's on my wish list. I mean, if we really go, what I wish is, you know, being healthier. I'm not particularly healthy at the moment. Like, I'm fine. But, you know, there's nothing that's immediately a problem or whatever. But I should be a lot healthier. So, that, but having the discipline for that is difficult. I know a lot of you can relate. If you just mean going places, I don't really have a specific wish list. I mean, there are lots of things I would like to do. Lots of countries I would like to go to, but I don't have a burning desire to go somewhere. We ask money this year. Oh, you mean for Sinterklaas? Oh, I don't do Sinterklaas. We kind of celebrated today, but not with like, not with like presents like that. We just do a little thing with the family, but not with proper presents. Let's build a coaster. Ooh, we just got the laid down coaster. So let's build an APVC. Okay, the neat thing about this one is that it doesn't have any support costs. So, let's uglify this park a little bit. Yeah, the supports are not that high, so it's not that bad. We can't even see the top from this viewpoint, from this angle. Okay, how fast do we need to launch it to get past the first hill? How do you pronounce Hofkwartier Groen? Well, like that. But what does that mean? Like, it's a Dutch thing, I can pronounce it, but I don't know what it means. Like, groen is just green. Hofkwartier is... I don't know what it is. And putting groen behind it doesn't make any sense. Oh, it's the name of an ink. Stuff like that has weird names. I think I could do with launching it a bit slower. I didn't really pay attention to the first hill. Okay, that looks a lot better. If you guys want me to pronounce any other Dutch words, I'm happy to oblige. You know, it's a good bit of fun. Or try, or, you know, have me pronounce different words from whatever language that I probably can't pronounce. I don't have cash. I'm poor. Say squirrel. Is there anything... Like, I know Germans apparently can't say squirrel, right? But Dutch people can. At least I think I'm pronouncing it right. I don't think there's anything wrong with squirrel. How do you pronounce... Oh god, it's the O with the umlaut is a German thing. And I always forget, like... I think it's and like without the umlaut it's O. But it might be the other way around. Let's connect it there. Oh, you meant the... Oh, with a dash through it. Like the Danish or Swedish or Norwegian or some of those thing. I think it's also kind of like an because I know the speed skater Øystein Grødum. Or Øystein. I know it's like Havard Buku. I think. And the has a dash, so I think it's an Unabhängigkeitsverklärung. Hang on. Unabhängigkeitsverklärungen. Klärungen. I don't know. I'm always curious about how different languages label countries. So yeah, we obviously, you know, have different names for countries. Like the US is the VS. It stands for Verenigde Staten, which is literally translated United States. America is America, and we write it the same, except we use a K instead of a C. Hang on, something isn't right here. How do you pronounce Schertogenbos? Well, like that. I have a feeling this isn't... Yeah, this isn't gonna fit. I'm gonna have to use brakes. Okay, we're out of cash. I'm not advertising. This is going shit. Let's advertise for free food or drink. Oh crap, we're out of money. Well, the umbrellas helped. Dutch always sounded like drunk German. German just sounds like angry Dutch. You know, things like Ich bin ein Bratwurst. That's just angry Dutch. Okay, finally, it's finished. And I already built the queue line. Now, is the intensity good? It looks to be. How do you feel about tower rides and tower featuring coasters not having any support costs even for the base of the towers or flat track? I think they should keep it as it is, because that's just a way of the game, but I'm very conservative in things like that. I think it's just a neat feature. Hey, look at that, we've beaten the scenario with triple the goal. So, yeah, the number of guests really went up quickly after we started advertising at the start of the year. Congrats, you're the winner. Yeah, it wasn't very difficult. But thank you. And just after we completed this coaster, just in time. With very good stats. We could charge a lot for this. If we could charge for the rides. I have been ein Wiener Schnitzel. Bist du ein Mann or ein Schnitzel? Do you know where that's from? Oh, we have just unlocked the last roller coaster. Or are you a man? Are you a man or ein Schnitzel? I think it's something like that. I'm not sure the exact quote. I want foot. If you want foot, you have two of them. The animated Red Riding Hood movie. Not exactly. Okay, so now we've beaten this. It's from Phineas and Ferb, by the way. Let's see what we shall do now, because ending the stream is a little bit early for this. I didn't realize this was only a 2-year scenario when I started it. Also, look at it. It's not raining in this little bit. At the top. That's not the first time I've noticed that, but the rain is only rendering. Well, it's also not raining at the bottom, so it's only rendering in the bit in between. Yeah, the bottom ain't raining either. We would have made so much more money if we were actually charging for the rides. Let's see. We could, of course, do the save file thing where if you're interested in that, you know, looking through old save files, saying something interesting about it. What's your favorite coaster in the park? Probably the wooden coaster that I didn't build, because it's a wooden coaster, they always look good. Mel's World, magnificent lost guest. Oh, that's because I needed some lost guests for a video. Oh, it was the top 10 plugins one. Obviously, I didn't. You know that there's a connection missing here, which didn't actually happen. I faked this for the shot in the video. Stuff like this has happened, but this shot looked nice. I'm still proud of this park, by the way. This is a good ride. Oh god, candy style. We got a lot of interesting ones. Big one from here. The Gigapark, now you've seen that plenty of times. Typewriter. I saw that one too. This was kind of a thing I wanted to. Basically, I wanted to make a typewriter in Roller Coaster Tycoon. It didn't work, but I tried. This was around the time I did a lot of that stuff. This was when I built Choose Your Own Excitement. I think it was basically a follow-up to the calculator. I also tried a bigger calculator, but eventually I lost interest in it and, you know, never completed stuff like that. I want to see Lollipop Mountain. Do I have a save file called Lollipop Mountain? It's probably one of those ones that I didn't build. There is none. I think you just trolled me. Something like that. It was the oh. But that was not really a mount. Was there a mountain? Oh no, you got me. Whoops! I accidentally clicked on longest ride POC, which is some longest ride concept, which doesn't really work for reasons. It works, but it also doesn't. Okay, let's go into this. This is a longest ride concept based on guests wanting to. God, how did it work again? I did not build this. I accidentally clicked on this. Someone on Reddit did. It starts here, then you get guests here. And it only goes once this train is full. And then you get to, like, here. And then... I kind of forgot how this works. Why are these synchronized or something? Oh yeah, so these are synchronized. So this one only goes if this one goes. Sorry, this one only goes if that one goes. And this one, it takes a long time for it to go. Because, you know, guests will only get in it from this yellow ride. Which is broken down now. So let's renew that. And fix it and whatever. And guests will rarely get on this. They sometimes will, they sometimes won't. And then as soon as this one has done a single lap, then they will sometimes get on this ride. And then, you know, once this one finally goes, This one goes and, you know, you build a chain like that. Or is it coming the other way around? Because the long coast... Oh no, this is the one with the 31 block breaks. So the problem with this concept... Like, it's a good idea. The problem with this concept is that sometimes, like, it's random. Depending on guests willing to ride the blue coasters. Which might technically be never. You know, if you just get bad luck. And that's why this doesn't really work. Yeah, it's a probably. Like, you can have it for instantly or never. Basically, yeah, same way with the maze. Okay, Giga Park. Yeah, there was a Lollipop Mountain in there. I'm not sure if this is a geography question. Of the Rotterdam Zoo and the Amsterdam Zoo, which one has llamas and alpacas? I have no idea. I do know that Blijdorp in Rotterdam is better than Artis in Amsterdam. There's Lollipop Mountain. So, why exactly did you want to see this so badly? Also, this is not really that great of a park. It's too big, too spread out. I don't really like it. Like, I think it's a good effort on my part. But in the end, I don't think it's that great of a park. I'm really happy with this mountain though. Same with this little bit of scenery work. I think it's fantastic. Like, there are really some good things in there. Like, the penis spaceship, for example. It's very nice. And I like this village. But the general feel I'm not really all that happy with. Yeah, this is my least favorite area, definitely. Hey, Pride Slides. Oh, I like this hole. I really like the hole with all the dynamite in it and the fire next to it. But yeah, that's a really good deep hole. And I like good deep holes. Yeah, there's also the ice area, which is it's very bright blue. Isn't it? They're called Korra and Katara after two waterbenders. Oh, that's a good noise. They're both a little bit on the extreme side. Not gonna quote that because I'm sure you've already said something like that. Oh yeah, we have many quotes like that. We have a nice little court here. And a little heist here. And a nice fissure here. And we have snowballs around the mini golf, which is very nice. So yeah, this is a good... It's a good park, but I think it's not... Could have been a lot better, at least. I like the entrance area, though. It's very classic. You know, this is a very nice one. It's sunk into the ground. That's the thing we should do more often with mazes. It was not my idea, by the way. It was someone else's idea. I have no idea whose, but someone else's. Oh yeah, and this food court idea, which I basically did in Forest Frontiers as well. That's where I got the Forest Frontiers food court idea from. Okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna select a random save file. Let's see. Fastest twister coaster, 1500 kilometers per hour, depart. And I'm pretty sure this might get a little bit. If this goes fast, nah, it'll be fine. This was probably for the video about how fast can you go. Speed up a bit. And it's 500. So If I speed up, yeah, it lags a little bit. But yeah, it'll go very fast. 1400. I think it'll just about reach 1100 or 1500 at some point. It seems to have reached at maximum speed. But yeah, this is very fast. And the guests are fine with this. It never finishes, of course. This goes on forever. Okay, let's see what other interesting ones. Interesting save files we can find. Weekly Challenge 1D. Well, it's a string of weekly challenge save files. Aha! So, this is quite interesting. There was a dude on Reddit who posted, at some point, started to post weekly challenges. And his idea was basically, we'll have a nice challenge on Reddit, one every week. And they'll be in the scenario and they'll have certain requirements that you need to fulfill. And it was basically meant as a fun thing. Now, I participated in them, and this was in the time where I was basically a cocky asshole and wanted to show everyone, like, look at how good I am at the game. I am better than you. I am better than everyone. I was, mostly. Not all the time, but, you know, I was really good. But I wanted to show everyone, and that was not very nice. But I participated, and the goal was basically to Bumbly Bazaar, and I think you had to build 2 coasters on the beach, each with like 7 excitement and a maximum length or whatever. I don't remember the exact requirements. But yeah, you can build on the beach. They're construction rights. Like, you can buy all these construction rights. In the water as well. And I think you had to have like 7 excitement on those rides or whatever. And of course, I showed off and did 10 excitement, because I was being a cocky bitch. So let's see, weekly challenge 1, the final, it's probably 1G. Yeah. This one was a total bitch. Yeah, I remember designing it. It was a nightmare getting this to 10 excitement. I don't remember, but there were like limits on whatever you could do. Or something like that. Or I made them like as short as possible while getting 10 excitement. There was something I did to show off. And I don't remember exactly what the rules were. But I do remember I was like using extremely little of it or whatever and getting extremely high excitement ratings for it. Hang on, I want to quickly see if I can find that. Weekly challenge. What do I get? Oh, there we go, that was easy. Okay, let's see. Blah blah blah, whole weekly challenge thing. Oh hey, he's deleted his account. Prior to your takeover of Bumbly Beach, blah blah blah. Turn the park around and make it successful again. This will be matched by attracting 7 and... Okay, that's basically the goal. Instead of buying this beachfront property from the city, we will grant you land under consideration that you create a pier on Bumbly Beach with the following attractions. You may start construction as soon as your loan is repaid. 1 roller coaster, excitement minimum length, excitement minimum 6 and length level less than 750 feet. 3 unique stationary rides, not already existing inside your park. 2 food stalls and 1 non-food type stalls. The pier must be a minimum of 3 units wide. You must completely repay your loan prior to beginning the construction of the pier. This is all basically custom challenges that he made up. Oh, extreme mode. 2 coasters, minimum of 7 excitement and maximum length of 850 feet. Now, 850 feet is not a lot. You must also extend the monorail to pick up the guests from the entrance of your park and transport them directly to the pier without a change in track elevation. This track must be running at least 2 trains at all times. So, there were a lot of requirements here. Well, you see my monorail. You see the 3 rides. You see all the stalls I needed. And it's 3 wide. And if we go to Imperial... where is it? This one's 830 feet. That's the junior, which one was easy. I basically... The extreme was like get 7 excitement, 850 feet in length. I was like, I can do 10. Because I'm good at the game and I'm a god. And... Oh, this has corrected to 975 now. Recalculated, I suppose. Sometimes that happens because things have changed over the time in Roller Coaster Tycoon. Well, whatever. It's still very high. And it's 840 feet long. So, yeah, as you can see, it's not long at all, 850 feet. How would you do things differently today? I would just build a nice park. You know, maybe still show off a little. Go to like, I don't know, 8 or 8.5 excitement. But I was basically like, I can do everything to the absolute extreme. And it doesn't have to look good. It just has to be the highest number possible. And look at me, look at me. Look at how good I am. Look at me, look at me. That was basically me back in like 2017, 2018. Now, I was very good. Don't get it wrong. It wasn't false confidence, because I was good. But I was arrogant about it. I wanted to shove it in everyone's face, and that was not good. Okay, so that's this park. Now, let's have a look at the weekly challenge number 2. So, let's get this one, and if we then... There we go, firing up Forest Frontiers. Blah, 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 blah. Challenge mode. Accomplish the scenario goals before constructing a single roller coaster. Just before constructing a... accomplish the scenario goals before constructing a single roller coaster. Once you have met the scenario goals, you must build 5 roller coasters with at least 6 excitement. And it was 5 different types, I think. And finally, once all coasters have been complete, you must show at least 3 consecutive months of ride revenue greater than 3,500 a month. This is all really easy. Person who gets this done the least amount of game time wins. Well, there's the thing, you know, of me being able to show off. Same requirements as above for extreme, except your 5 coasters must be over 8 excitement and over 9 intensity. 3 consecutive months of ride revenue greater than 12k. There may be only 1 of each kind of coaster in your park. Okay, so now we get the 1 of each kind of thing. Oh, and Ultra Extreme Challenge surprised me. Oh, it had a whole leaderboard thing. This only went on for 3 challenges, by the way. So it didn't really work out, which is fair, you know. He tried the thing, it didn't work out for him for one reason or another. That, you know, that happens. So, what did I do? I know roughly what I did, but I don't remember exactly. Alright, there's a, well, weekly challenge 2 fast. Let's try F. That's the latest one, presumably. Oh yeah, that was the doing the stat. Oh, I remember having a battle about this with Stu. I think he beat me. About getting the 250 guests or whatever as fast as possible. Or something as fast as possible. Like the 3.5... Oh yeah, this was the standard requirements. Like getting the 3.5k profit as fast as possible and all that stuff. No, this was not the battle I had with Stu. That was a different one. It wasn't Forest Frontiers. But then if we go to the actual weekly challenge, which I did for the extreme version. This is obviously not finished, because there's only 2 coasters here. Yeah, this thing has... Well, it gets a penalty now. Presumably it didn't get a penalty back then. Basically, I went for 10 excitement, because of course I did. Yeah, there you go, 10.5 excitement. Is there any later version of this, or is this where it ends? Did I maybe not... save the later versions? Or is it just 2? Because sometimes I might save the last one without... no, it's not. Because this is empty. Quite empty. So I may not have saved that, or I may not have finished it. I'm pretty sure I did finish it. Or maybe I didn't have time. Either one. Well... Okay, let's load this one so that we have a little bit of background noise. We also have the third challenge. So let's have a look at that. There we go. Burning through Bumbly Bazaar. Now, this park, I think, actually features in tomorrow's video. That I built for this. Because microcoasters. Okay, this is all backstory and whatever. It doesn't really matter. So, challenge mode. Sustained food and drink income of 800 a month for 3 months. Sustained shop income for 1100 a month for 3 months. Sustained park rating of 600. Person who gets it done least amount of time wins. Well, there you go. It's gamified again. No industrial approaches, i.e. spamming rides, coasters to nowhere, floating path segments. I wonder who caused that rule to be implemented. Can you think of anyone? I've totally forgot this. All shops need to stay open. No closing shops and waiting to build up influx cash. No charging for toilets. I'm as capitalist as they come. It is just a dick move. Due to temperature fluctuations, all steel tracked and supported rides may not be built more than 140 feet or 20 in-game units above the ground. Above this, expansion blah blah. Extreme challenge mode, objectives and rules. Ah, there, spamming rides is acceptable. So that's obviously what I went for. Okay, so just a bit higher numbers. And all shops need blah blah. You can't go above 80 feet. Ultra extreme challenge surprised me. Okay, now let's see what I did. Weekly challenge 3. Complete extreme. That's probably the one we want. Thank you for the follow, by the way. Sandius, Sam Barner, and Wardy. So that's a lot of microcoasters. And yeah, my coasters are not more than 28 units off the ground. I'm making good use of the hills. And my surprise was basically making a shit ton of money. Probably could have done a lot. Probably could have done it a lot better, in hindsight. Yeah, and then it never finished. I mean, the weekly challenges never continued after this. Let's see, what else do we get? Because there were a few others. Damn it. A few others about update on weekly challenges. Oh, the guy was on disability and had a lot of, you know, problems with doing all the administration around it and stuff, which is fair. Like I said, his life got in the way, and oh, this was the first initial one that you saw if there was any interest in it. So yeah, then that never happened. No way, this one in between. At some point it just never happened anymore. Which is fine. We also had, I don't know what they're called. I don't know if I can, how I could find them. Let's see, if we just call it, I don't know, playthrough. There was like, what's it called? Valder, who's still one of the mods here. Basically the head mod, if there's such a thing. He was hosting playthroughs every week. We would go through the Roller Coaster Tycoon 1 scenarios. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, there we go. RCT Community Playthrough Scenario 2. So it was basically the standard and challenges. Finish the park with no loan without building any steel roller coasters. So, this was also, you see, 5 years ago, in the time I liked to show off. And this was Dynamite Dunes. Let's see what I did. Where's my comments? This was quite popular, actually. Look at this. Scenario completed. Okay, no micro rides. Let's see. What did I do? I got... In 3 years, I got 3,900 guests. And what exactly did I say? I wanted to see how many guests I could get without spending hours on optimizing everything, but still putting some effort into it. Oh yeah, there wasn't a cash machine available, so I made all the rides cheap. I remember doing that. Now let's actually load up the park. I think I still called it Dynamite Dunes scenario playthrough. That's a challenge. That was another different thing. Or did I not? Or did I call the scenario playthrough Dynamite Dunes? Let's see. No. SP Dynamite Dunes. There we go. It's one of the two. Either number 1 or number 2. There we go. Oh, this is not the final version. The final version must be this one. I was trying to mute the stream for a moment and I kept pressing M and that wasn't muting. Now I realized I was typing in the chat. Lol. So yeah, this was the final version. Now, one of the things I'm not so proud of in this one, it's one again my sort of behavior. Let's look for the next one. Scenario 3, which is Leafy Lake. If I remember correctly. Wow, we did a lot. I eventually stopped doing them, I think. And people in general stopped doing them. But I want number 3. Blah, blah. Oh yeah, challenges. Make at least one roller coaster that completely encompasses the lake. Absolutely no pieces over water. This will require modifying the land to the right of the lake slightly. Adjusting the land in general is allowed, just expensive. Now, you know what I did? I'm, you know, reasonably proud of what I built. But I was like, I'm gonna be clever. And I'm just gonna remove the entire lake, but still build a coaster around where it was anyway. Thank you for the follow, Gnogurt. So let's see, scenario playthrough Leafy Lake. Where was it? It'll be number 5, probably. Yeah, but you can see a tiny lake because that has a little story. I did it all within the 3 years you get without any cheating or whatever. And oh yeah, I was supposed to build like a lake or whatever here, but I never did. You know, it's a nice coaster and, you know, a reasonably nice forest and whatever. But the thing is, I kind of... Scenario completed. One issue with the challenge is that in the end I didn't have a lake anymore. I was like, haha, I'm so funny, but look at me how good I am, because I removed the lake. I hope it's allowed anyway. And Valder was, you know, justified in saying it doesn't qualify completing the challenge, and then that's one. Yeah, and I was like, okay, I wanted to qualify, so I'll add a really small lake, which, you know, you can see here. And I took it way too seriously. And he was like, don't worry, there aren't any trophies for the challenges. I just want to get people thinking creatively. I was taking it so damn serious. I was... But, you know, I'm not taking it as seriously now, stuff like that. Which is good. It was a bit too serious. But, you know, I talk myself down a lot because how I behave. But one thing about it, very nice that was about the stuff I did back then, was I actually learned a lot. And I've, you know, discovered a lot. And I increased the knowledge of the community, basically. So, my extremely competitive spirit and basically arrogance did help me in becoming extremely good at the game. So, you know, it got an upside. One thing I did, which I'm really proud of, I think it was also for the scenario playthrough. Crumbly... Well, there's no Crumbly Woods here. Is it just called Crumbly Woods? It seems like one of those things that you look back on and was like, what on earth was I thinking? Yeah, basically, I mean, that's how I'm talking about it right now. It's like, what on earth was I thinking? Oh yeah, there we go. Crumbly Woods SP. I'm really proud of this one. Wrong save file. Is it the other one? I hope so. Ah, there we go. Would you look at that? It's a world map, baby. Made in Crumbly Woods. Yeah, I flattened the entire map. And, yeah. Then I built a world map. What projection is that? I believe I based it off the Robinson projection. And I did it not with any mods or plugins or whatever. I don't think plugins existed at the time. No, what I did was I just had a picture of the map on one screen and then I built it on the other screen. I didn't have two screens at the time, so I used my laptop. I'm still playing on my laptop. I might have used, like, I might have gone back and forth on tabs or whatever. I didn't have my computer yet, I think. I'm really proud of this one. I think Alaska is maybe a bit too big, and it's like goes a bit too far inland. It's not perfect, not even close, but it's really good. And I even included New Zealand. So yeah, I think it's one of my best work. Also, the Great Lakes are now penis shaped. But maps like this just remind you how small Europe is. Compared to everything. What was the challenge? Good point. I don't know. Let's see what challenge was... Oh god, which scenario is it? Is it number 9? Nope. Hang on, I can just count. 1, 2, 6... 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There it is. I hope this is it. Yes. Oh, construct a scenic garden section. Interpret the content however you like. Minimum size 200 tiles. Well, then I got the inspiration for this. Now, this is one I'm proud of, because this is not me just showing off how efficiently I can play the game, like with getting enough money to remove the lake. This is just me building something beautiful. If I'm honest. Like, I'm really proud of this one. I posted it on Twitter like, I don't know, a year, 2 years ago, whatever. And it did really well. I've posted it to Reddit, it did really well there too. I mean, it's cool, stuff like this. There's also another one that has a really interesting end, which is Katie's World. Now, what did I name that? Okay, it's still under the SP banner. Yeah, I changed naming conventions halfway through, which isn't the handiest. So, you know KT Dreamland, like it has a nice little lake in the middle. Let's just go to KT Dreamland. Where is it? There it is. It's scenario number 8. Okay, so you know, this is KT Dreamland. There's a nice little lake in the middle, you know, a little small coaster, a train. It has a go-kart track, a ship, a nice, fairly big mine train coaster, and an underground coaster right there. Now let's see what the challenge was. Finish the scenario with no loan and a company value of more than 65,000 if you're doing RST1, and no loan and a company value of more than 250,000 if you're doing RST2. I don't know if I did those, but I did do something interesting. This is a park value scenario, by the way. You need 150k, I believe? Yes. Doesn't North America fit into Africa like 3 times? No. Like, North America is pretty massive as well. Greenland fits in America 14 times. Even though, or in Africa, I mean, even though they're about the same size on the Mercator projection. Anyway. SP Katie's World. Or Dreamland. I did. This. Look, they're still clapping. I completed the scenario. In the rain. With 180 Ferris wheels. And the thunder. Some are stuck in the exit. Still clapping. Takes them a long time because they're tired. This is... Yep. I have over 250,000 park value and company value. I completed the challenges. It's... like, this is just hilarious. Like, these kinds of ideas, I think are just... I think they're just good. They're just funny. You know, I don't... Let's see what I commented here. Let's see how I behaved. God, I'm analyzing myself. Oh yeah, the Ferris wheel machine. 912 guests are trapped in a park with 186 Ferris wheels. Will any of them make it out alive? Okay, so this was me just doing something random and funny. That I like. I said something about Bumbly Beach. Yeah, so we also did Bumbly Beach. I don't care what the challenge is. I just want to show you it. Because it's interesting what I did. So this is the first save file I have of it. Which is the oldest. This is a very Marcel park, right? Bumbly Beach is a 2-year scenario, by the way. And I had almost 2,000 guests, made a lot of money. So this is the end of year 1, which is halfway. So I haven't beaten the scenario yet or anything. And I'll look at when I've beaten it. This is my Bumbly Beach. I promise you, this is the same park. I just got a lot of money so that I would be able to afford this. Bumbly Forest, well, that's literally what I called it, not here, but at some point. Like on a Reddit post or whatever. I'm proud of this one. I was basically just, I'm gonna make a shit ton of money. Then I'm just gonna remove all the microcoasters and build a nice looking park. Like, this park isn't profitable. Well, it might be very slightly profitable, but not enough to afford all the terrain changes and all the trees. Yeah, it's slightly profitable, but not very. So, this would never work. But it does if you do it like that. It looks like it belongs in Zoo Tycoon. Yeah, it does. Looks like a very big exhibit of some kind. I agree. So yeah, sometimes I did do funny things with these. Let's see, what did I do with Diamond Height? I think I just showed off and did like 1,000,000 park value or whatever. Let's see what I did. Looks like I'm alright. Yep. 4 million in 3 years. I mean, that's impressive. I 22-pulled the goal that you need. So, it's impressive. You can't even set the goal that high. The highest possible goal you can set is just 2 million. Which I've gotten in a year before once. It looks like I started taking myself a bit less seriously after like the first 5 or 6 ones. Starting with Bumbly Beach. Okay, what did I do? Oh yeah, Evergreen Gardens. I also showed off. Because obviously I did. Because I was the god, you know. Yeah, I got 8,500 guests in 4 years. I built a massive park. Imagine if I built this for like the scenario playthrough series. In just 4 years. Now, a lot of this involved building a coaster. Or, no, saving the park. Building a coaster. Saving the coaster. Reloading the save file without the coaster. And then just building the coaster from the pre-build. To save time. Otherwise, you can't do this. That not only does, you know, do you not have to build the coaster then. Actually, in the time it takes you to beat the scenario. But also, it saves you, it lets you, you know, you get more guests earlier, so you make money faster. You can also see some microcoasters here, by the way. And a lot of more microcoasters too. I never built to the back of Evergreen Gardens. Oh, I have done that several times. It doesn't really look like Evergreen Gardens anymore now, does it? Thank you for the follow, by the way, Serenalon and Tantalin. Okay, let's open the other ones. I'm having a lot of fun looking back at this. Okay, carts and coasters. What did I do for that? Well, I removed all the trees. And it looks like I only built one ride. Which goes kind of fast. I don't know what the challenge was. And it doesn't really matter, but... This is a hell of an ugly park. I mean, I beat it. Without much effort. But it's not a beautiful or a good park. Dirkling would not approve. No, he wouldn't. I just got an idea. I'm not going to tell you. What did I do for Forest Frontiers? Was that where I battled Stu? I don't think so. I just got a lot of park value. 1,300,000 basically. And a lot of microcoasters. And park value bombs. Okay. What else we got? Leafy Lake we've had. Yeah, we've had all that. Diamond Heights, Dynamite Dunes. Okay, we've had all of these. There are some more which like end on SP. Which I did like I think I did a Paradise Pier. Oh! Oh, I'm really proud of this park. Hang on, I'm so proud of this park. Yeah, this was after I started relaxing. Look at this park. Oh, hang on. Wrong save file. Wrong watercolor. This is where I changed the watercolor. But look at this park. Isn't this a beautiful little green park? This is basically just like an Irish park. Isn't this pretty? I'm proud of this. I'm very proud of this. It looks so nice, yeah, and so Irish. Like, I started with a coaster that just goes around the park, a junior coaster with 4 stations. But it's just neat. There are a lot of coasters here. A lot of rides. Yeah, this has been in several videos as well. Some other parks might have also been in videos. Pretty sure the Leafy Lake one has been in videos. Bumbly Forest has definitely been in several videos. So, a lot of these path parks have been in videos. Let's see, what other scenarios do we have? Oh, someone asked, what's Quackland? Okay, so that's basically... Oh yeah, that was also me showing off. Okay, so... At some point, and they still kind of do, but like 5 years ago, OpenRCT2, the devs started like doing this thing where they wanted to create an OpenRCT2 scenario pack. And people would submit scenarios, and generally they're beautiful scenarios. And I wanted to submit one as well, but I was like, I'm gonna make it difficult. And to show how good I am, I'm gonna have it completed myself to show it's possible, and then people will think that I'm good at the game. So I submitted a scenario called Quackland, and the name is just a thing of, you know, Scrooge. It's a story I invented around it. Scrooge McDuck giving you like land, but you need to make a lot of profit, and you need to get 1 million park value in 3 years. First off, 1 million park value in 3 years is not that much. Like, that's easy. From what I know now. I wasn't as good as I thought back then, because I'm a lot better now. So if we go to Quackland, you get this. 1.2 million in just, you know, October 31st, year 3 has just passed. And, you know, you get little story, blah blah blah, Scrooge McDuck, you need to make a lot of money. 1 million park value in 3 years. The problem with Quackland as a scenario, if we just open it, it's probably under Expert Parks. Let's see. Quackland. Yeah, there we go. The problem with this is that it's ugly. Like, I did my best to make some kind of hills and forest, but let's see, this forest is way too large and that gets way too homogeneous. The problem with this scenario is just ugly. And it's not fun for people to play, because it's way too difficult for anyone who doesn't want to exploit the game as far as I do. So when I posted this with my submission, it rightfully got downvoted to hell. I don't know how far, because, you know, post karma doesn't go below 0. But it got to 0. With people saying it's not that good. Rightfully so. I got put in my place there. Which is good. Which is very good. It's one of the humbling moments I definitely needed at the time. Okay, let's see. We got... What else have we got? Mel's World. Did I do Mel's World? Because I wanted to see what I did. Did I do an SP? Looks like I didn't. Mystic Mountain, next one. Might be called Mothball Mountain. Oh, not here. Maybe Mystic Mountain then. I didn't do that one either. I did do Paradise Pier and Crumbly Woods. I don't think I did Pacific Pyramids. No, I didn't do all these others. So I think we had all the ones that I've done. He went to like 26, so there are 21 original ones. And then he probably continued here, which I all didn't do because I stopped participating. But yeah, that was fun. Yeah, it was basically a scenario aimed at me, but I kind of used it to show off. Which, I mean, like I said, it improved my skills, which was very nice, but it also... yeah. people definitely got an opinion of me. A lot of people were impressed, and I still say rightfully so, because it was impressive what I did. But I'm pretty sure that a lot of people also thought, stop showing off. They never really told me, but they must have thought it. Like, they can't not have thought it. Anyway. Oh yeah, there are also, like, some... Hang on, we're on added attractions right now. Like Hurricane Hills. If you want a good scenario pack, by the way, look for the May and SOS scenario pack. First one is Hurricane Hills. And this is... I've definitely featured this one before in my videos. You know what this reminds you of? Roller Coaster Tycoon 1. I'm 100% sure this reminds you of Roller Coaster Tycoon 1. You know why? Because May and SOS... you'll see his name here. If you want to Google for it, you can find his scenario pack. He's an absolute genius. And made a scenario pack in the style of Roller Coaster Tycoon 1. Like... This scenario, if this... I'm pretty sure that a lot of people would actually believe you if you said this was one of like the expansion scenarios or whatever. Back when it came out, I might have believed you, because I didn't know the expansions were that well. Hey, what's up, Repku? And others. Welcome. How you doing? We're just looking at a scenario pack right now that someone called May and SOS made. And it's basically a custom scenario pack in the style of Roller Coaster Tycoon 1, and it's done fantastically well. It's like a cross between Mel's World, Forest Frontiers and Dinky Park. Yeah, basically. And it's wonderful. Where can I download it? Hang on. Mayan SOS scenario pack. Let's see if I can find it. Well, looks like this is it. I wonder if the... I wonder what kind of link it is. It's a Mediafire link. Does that still work? Yeah, it looks like it does. You can find the Reddit post right there. There you can download it. I've only completed like the first 8 or 9, but they're absolutely fantastic ones. Hope you had a good stream, by the way, Rupku. I think you play like a variety of games, so I have no idea what you were playing. Let's look at the next one. Parabola Park. Another fantastic Roller Coaster Tycoon 1 styled park. Like, doesn't this scream Roller Coaster Tycoon 1, the entire style of this? Like, it's just these flower beds and these little hedges. Yeah, it looks like Diamond Heights, but not entirely. It's a little bit of other things sprinkled in. These ones are basically like the roller coasters from, like the inverted coasters from Dragon Cove. And this one, yeah, this is basically the thing from Katie's World, the swan boats. Even with the one black swan. But it's so good. Let's see, next one. Ruthless Rage. Yeah, this is Whispering Cliffs, but then ice style. And then you have... Future Fun Zone. I showed this off recently. My completed version of it. It's complete the 5 coasters. And this is basically like a Venus pond combined with tiny towers like thing. Or whatever. Then you have... Bashful Beach. Which is a story of, you know, it's just sunrise, so the water looks orange. It's just a really nice scenario. Hey, look at that. Nice little Easter egg. And then the next one, which is one of my favorites of his. Trains and Thrills. This is another such a good scenario. Like, you got a train, you got a roller coaster. It's just... Yeah, with the landscape generator, but the landscape generator didn't exist. This is done 6 years ago. Like, OpenRST2 was very basic back then still. This was all done manually, I'm pretty sure. Another park in your stream intro sequence. Oh yeah. Because when my friend made that video, I was basically like... he was basically like, can you send me footage of parks? So I got a bunch of parks that nice shots. And I sent him over. And he just, I mean, doing the edit isn't very difficult. Just, you know, static shots of parks running. But I thought these were really nice shots. Then we get to La La Land, which is basically the one with the highway in between. It's a variation on that. Was called Fantopia, the original one. To be really in the style of RCT1, you should just reuse a map and rotate it. Who says he didn't? I don't know if he did. Oh, this is a Mel's World thing. The freefall, that's a Mel's World thing. Let's see what the next one is. Dragon Desert. Yeah, my completed version of this isn't very nice. This is basically Southern Sands, but then a bit different. Because you need to get 2,000 guests. But you know, Southern Sands has an inverted coaster that goes in and out of the ground with these kinds of things. This is a 4D coaster or multi-dim. Most look like he started with one of the RCT maps and edited it. Maybe he did. We should get Dirklink on that, he'll know. Or he will not know, he will be able to analyze. Then the next one is where I stopped. Because then you get... Wait, no, this is another pack. Then you get... No, I did Wishful Woods. Which I completed. Oh yeah. I hope you had a good time listening to that. Okay, this is a Crumbly Woods thing. I never noticed at the time. This is also a good night park thing with the dueling the reverser coasters. What kind of theme is this? It's not quite candy style. Oh, it's Toyland style. It's really nice. It's basically candy style, but good. I like it. Oh, I really like that. This is really good. Okay, then you get Frosty Frolics. And this is where I stopped. Let's have a look at why. Scenario options. Forbid high construction, forbid tree removal. Okay, that just means it's not fun to build. Because there are lots of trees. And then I didn't really have any motivation to move on to the next one, and I just stopped playing these. I should do these again at some point. But yeah, I started this, I built like a yellow twister coaster, and then I got frustrated and I stopped. Because, honestly, this is not as bad as Harmonic Hills, but it's in the same direction and it's not fun at all. Thank you for the follow, Trips on Water and Dutch Driver. Yeah, it's just... It's not exactly Harmonic Hills, because you can at least alter the ground and go underground. So it's a little bit better. But it's still not fun. I have never seen the other scenarios. Let's take a look at the next one. How many are there? 21, well, that makes sense. Oh, I've seen Power Park. What's Power Park? Oh, this is basically Mega Park. This is exactly Mega Park. I mean, not the same. Wait, no, it is the same map. This is literally Mega Park. I recognize this hole. Or is it not exactly the same map? Hang on, let's have a look. Okay, it's not exactly the same map. It's a bit different. Because it is a very similar hole, but it's in a different place. And you have the desert here. And by the way, do you remember this lake? This is Leafy Lake. It's the same map. Like, this is the lake from Leafy Lake. It's basically the map from Leafy Lake, just with a hole in it. Let's go back to Power Park. Let's see. Dirklink did a whole analysis on it, where like maps that are the same or use very identical elements. Yeah, the desert bit is on the opposite side of the park. It's basically Mega Park, but the features are shuffled around. I didn't notice it as much as at the time, but I do now. What's up, Cody? Welcome. Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Someone said earlier to really be like Roller Coaster Tycoon 1, he should have reused some maps. Well, he did. What do we get? Stormy Seas. I've never seen that one. Wait, I see Murky Marsh. I think I have done that one. I remember the name. Oh, this is an interesting scenario. Now, this is not just a reuse, because this is not in Roller Coaster Tycoon 1, a scenario like this. So he does have some original work at least. And all the coasters and layouts are of course original. But yeah, this is a really good pack. But I think it's time to end the stream because Cody's here. Now, I was planning to end it anyway, so sorry Cody, you arrived at a bit of an unfortunate time. I'll load up the park we did earlier today. There we go. For a nice high quality outro shot, we'll go to scaling level of 1. Now you can see all the pixels, especially if you... Wait, no, I don't stream in 1440p. Well, I see it in 1440p on my screen. But you can't. You can in my videos. I upload in 1440p. Thank you for the follow. Egg in a sack. Good name. Let's see. Twitch. Let's see who I can raid. Who is playing Roller Coaster Tycoon? Well, I am. What a surprise. No one else is. Oh, one person is. And English is allowed. It also says it's in Portuguese. They're probably streaming in Portuguese then. Let's not do that. Let's just raid Ladypuss. He's always nice. He's not playing Roller Coaster Tycoon. He's playing some game called Farewell. Have fun at his stream. Thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you tomorrow on the YouTubes. Saturday on the live stream. I'll post my streaming schedule because it's gonna be a bit odd and irregular. I'll post my streaming schedule on Twitch. Because Sunday I'm not available. I'll see you on Saturday on the Twitch. And yeah, have fun. Good night, bye bye, all that stuff. Later.